Hello, welcome to the All Around Grant Show. I'm the host, Loren Sederstrom, and with my co-host, Larry Lanou, and we have a guest today, Tim Deweski. Thanks for coming on the show, Tim.
Thanks, I appreciate the invitation.
We have a lot of things to cover today. We're going to try to get through all of it, but as I usually, like I promised you last week, we have the first video we have it'll also bring back memories of summer, if any of you can remember what that is. It's been a long winter, so we'll get an opportunity to see hopefully some green grass. So if Control Room could please play that fire truck video that was taken at the blacksmith. We'll look at that and we'll talk to you on the other side. Today we're here at the blacksmith. We're talking to John Freed. How you doing, John?
Very well, thank you. Great day to be here.
Okay, now John has something very unusual. He's got a 1929 fire truck, okay? And what's more interesting, or just as interesting, is the story behind it. So could you tell us a little bit of the history in the fire truck before we start describing it? Where did it originally go to, and the chain of owners it went through?
Sure, it was originally bought by the city of Pipestone in July of 1929, and stayed there until 1955 when they sold it to St. Paul Park. And then in about 1960, St. Paul Park gave it to Woodbury, and it actually preceded the establishment of the Woodbury Fire Department. And then in probably about 1967, Woodbury sold it off to an individual who used it to haul around his dance band equipment. I bought it in 1969 from a gas station down in St. Paul, and took it apart with the idea of getting it all done that summer, but of course that didn't happen. So,
well, it was kind of interesting. I thought you said too earlier that he hauled it around and he went into the service and he abandoned it at a gas station, and then you had to buy it from the gas station owner.
That's right. And then I went in the service for 4 years after, in the fall of '69, so it sat apart for quite a few years. But then in the mid-'90s, I decided I wasn't going to get any younger. I better get the thing done if I was. And so it was taken apart down to every last nut and bolt. Everything was sandblasted individually, painted by blacksmiths in Forest Lake, and then all reassembled. And there's still a bit of work to do on it, but it's all there. The engine on it is a 6-cylinder Continental engine that I rebuilt, and the truck was actually built by Loren Fire Apparatus, and Loren built for W.S. Knott Company, and they only built about 75 of these from about 1924 to about 1930, and of those 75, there's still about 25 or 30 that I found that are still around. This is probably the most accurately and best restored of the bunch.
What kind of transmission?
It's a Fuller transmission. It's a Continental engine, a Fuller transmission, a Northern 500 gallon per minute pump, a Schuler front end, an Eaton rear axle, and the whole thing was basically a shop built by Loren Fire Apparatus.
Well, I see a lot of beautiful detailing, all the gold painting, the boxes, and you said you had to get a bunch of the equipment because it was pretty well stripped?
Yes, I did. The booster reel was missing off it. The suction hoses on the far side were missing. The lanterns were missing. The headlights, the original headlights were missing off it. So I had to still find. I had to find a lot of that stuff. I'm still missing some handles that go on the side here, and a couple of other things. I do have the gauges that go here. I need to get those fixed up and get back on. So it's still kind of a work in process, but a lot of fun to take it out to the parades. I ran it in the Forest Lake 4th of July parade this year. And
well, you'll have to come out. Next Saturday we have a Grant Restoration Project parade out in Grant, and you'll have to, bring it out there. We start at the Gost House and go all the way through, and then come back, and then we have a picnic.
All right, that sounds like a great weekend. That's great, yeah.
This is, I would imagine it's kind of hard to find parts because not everybody has a 1929 fire truck parked sitting in their garage.
That's right. It has become almost impossible to find parts for these. This spring I had to pull the head off and replace a burned exhaust valve. But I was very fortunate to find an outfit out in Washington that was able to supply a replacement head gasket and exhaust manifold gasket for me. So, but anything else, I'm going to have to make, or it's a lot of work to try and find any parts for it.
Well, I would imagine storage is a little bit of a problem too. It's kind of a big piece of equipment.
Yeah, I have a pole barn at home and just store it in that, so that works out well.
Well, they've done a beautiful job. Thank you very much for telling us about it, and thank you once again.
All right, thank you very much. It's a great pleasure to be here today. Thank you.
Well, folks, wasn't it nice to see that green grass and everybody in shirt sleeves? Okay, that's our fluff part. I hope you enjoyed that. The man put a lot of work into that. Now we're shifting gears like we usually do, and we're going to continue on talking about the city of Grant and what's going on there. And of course, there's been a controversy because the mayor has primarily eliminated public comment. He doesn't. We went through various scenarios from applying, and now we're to the point where he adjourns the meeting, shuts the camera off, and then we make public comment. Well, the only way to record that is I have to bring a camera. So if we can have control room play that first clip talking about public comment, please.
After we adjourn and talk about, but since we bring up public comment, why don't we just do it now? The other thing is that we still have people abusing public comment. We have people saying things like, oh, I know I have more than 3 minutes. We have people that read things. We have people that lean towards more of a personal attack. We have only 4 slots for 3-minute comments. That's all we have. So in reality, I was thinking about this. I mean, I would love to hear the public comments. I would love to hear a reasonable debate, and not debate, we're not debating, but reasonable comments from reasonable people with their just concerns. But I will not sit here and do any personal attacks or anything else. And if that would be the case, and people think that they can come up here and take longer than 3 minutes or personally attack the city council or anything, I will leave. And anybody else who thinks they may have a chance to talk, they can talk, but I won't be here. And I want to hear that. So if I happen to do that, and if somebody abuses the privilege of speaking at the city council, you can turn to the person that abused it and blame them, not me or anybody else up here. I just want to make that clear. And we'll be doing the public comment after the meeting. So, any other?
Just what I said after the meeting. Imagine that you cannot read anything. If you're pressured into covering a topic in 3 minutes, might it not be a good idea to record your thoughts and maybe read them from a sheet of paper? Last summer, it seems like Councilwoman Loben read her whole comment when she was complaining about the half-truths, which I have addressed earlier on this show, and basically told her that every clip on this show comes from the city council official DVD, and it's verified by the minutes. So they're casting all these aspirations. He's called me a liar in the St. Paul paper and the White Bear Press more than once. It's real interesting that this doesn't go both ways. Of course, it's Teflon Tommy lives in a one-way street. Any comments, folks?
Go ahead, Tim.
I've been on public comment, and it doesn't go any farther than that. I've asked to be put on the agenda. I've asked the clerk to be put on the agenda, Councilmember Bonin. I put in 3 phone calls to Tina Loben. She will not return my phone calls. And I think when reasonable people, like Carr said, go underneath public comment, they ought to be heard.
Actually, Tim, you're absolutely true. I made a phone call this morning both to the Mayor Tom Carr and to Councilman Huber, simply asking to be put on next month's agenda to talk about the taping and broadcasting of the Charter Commission, and they said absolutely not. And I said, would you care to come on, because we're not allowed to discuss with you at public comment, would you like to come to the all-around Grant show and explain your position? And they said absolutely not. So your voice is not to be heard.
Well, let's go to the next clip, and this is just a very, very short one. It's dealing with the adjournment of the meeting. Now watch the mayor, if you would, please.
The motion second, all those in favor say aye. Aye. We're adjourned.
Ooh, can I be first public comment? Or do
Yes.
people already sign up?
There. So there are people that are interested in speaking. And that was Sharon Schwartz, our most treasured treasurer for the city of Grant. And we're not allowed to have a lot of public comment, but what I did do is bring a camera, and so if Control Room can play the next clip, this is Tim making a point at public comment.
Downey View Road, Johnny Guy. I've been at your past 2 Charter Commission meetings and spoke under public comment. At both meetings, Mayor Carr was absent. Last month, Councilman Bonin assured me I can put you on the agenda. I have a very small agenda. I'm still not on it. Why? I'm doing everything I can to get put on it. Mr. Bonin, you're not a man of your word. Councilman Huber was at the same meeting. Afterwards, I received a phone call from Mr. Bonin. He urged me to talk to your city clerk, who informed me that the mayor felt no need for this to be put on the agenda. And after a brief phone call with the mayor, he insisted my issue had state approval and had nothing to do with grant. I was open to having an emergency meeting, but I was told that that wasn't going to happen. Your clerk encouraged me to go ahead and speak under public comment and that it would be heard. That's why I'm here tonight. This is a grant issue. At an illegal meeting on April 2011, a conditional use permit was executed by the city grant, entered into a joint powers agreement with the city of Matamita to provide sewer and water for the new Wildwood Elementary School, and forced Matamita to amend its 2010 comprehensive plan. And now I have mercury contamination that I never had before. From your meeting on April 21st, 2011, your minutes called for testing 3 times a year annually, April, June, and September. That's also why I'm here tonight. Why are these test wells not in? Who established the boundaries of the contaminated areas? What and where are your baselines for your testing? Why did the MPCA and Matamita approve test monitoring wells to be installed next to my property? Is this the next Benghazi? Mayor Carr, as a realtor, would this be on the agenda tonight if I were a client of yours? You recently sent me a postcard soliciting my business. Is this pollution devaluing my property, or do I need to disclose this? Once this water leaves my property, it flows into pristine White Bear Lake.
You have 30 seconds.
Now, they have the same issue I have. Will you provide me with the proper methods and procedures on how to obtain a Freedom of Information Act from the cities of Grant, Matamita, State of Minnesota, School District, and 832 for a complete application form so that I did not make the same mistakes that Mr. Jeffrey Nielsen made? Find out who's liable as I move forward, and will you assure me that I will be put on your next month's agenda and be part of the record? Furnish me with the documents I am requesting.
If I had not had a camera there, ladies and gentlemen, we would not be having that. That's why he does not want public comment. Public comment is designed to let citizens let the city council be aware of things that they may not know. And so we see what's happening with that. They don't want to know, they're ducking the issue, and that's the way it is.
Well, actually, that's why at the Charter Commission level, we have a number 2 article in the charter is freedom of speech, and it states that you will have public comment first part of the city council meeting, I actually want to get it written in there so it's for all city meetings. First comment will be the first thing on the agenda, so people don't have to sit there for 3 hours. I've been down to the Capitol. I know how they move you around, and the idea is that if we can postpone you, make you get up and walk away, that's what they really want. They don't want you to be heard.
That's it.
What they don't understand, though, is that when PCA did their testing at that school, they took the least expensive route that they could. They took the cheapest way out.
Well, they didn't test for many chemicals. That's the other issue. There's 80,000 chemicals. They probably tested for 2 or 3. And I've stated that multiple times before in this show. If you're not testing for a specific chemical, you're not going to get a reaction. So, if you're testing for iron in the water, we got that, but you may not be tested for TCE, PCBs, or any of those other. They have chemical tests are very specific, as you well know, because you do some testing.
Actually learned that the easiest thing is look at landmark environmental sites. They'll tell you they use high risk properties. They do Superfund sites. They custom the
Custom
results and tailor it, get the deal to the state
Is
level.
that anything like lying? Custom
It's-
tailoring results?
It's pretty close to it as you can, and it's the same as you'll see later in our deal, that if you hire the right environmental specialist or you hire the right attorney, you'll get the results you pay for.
Well, we're now going to shift to the next segment. One of the things that have come up, the Grant Restoration Project is coupled up with Priority Mail, Priority Couriers, I'm sorry, and they're offering 3 $1,000 scholarships, okay? And what we're going to go next is we're going to start, we have a whole chain of clips that relate to this, and we're going to start with Nick Vivian, our city attorney, who's also the city attorney for Scandia, giving his opinion on what should be on the website. So control room could play that, please.
It's appropriate, and it has nothing to do with the GRP or the scholarship. I certainly think that the scholarship is a noble initiative. However, the city should not be in the business of posting private scholarship opportunities on its website for the purpose that the city has nothing to do with it. The city is not a sponsor. The city does not partake in it. The city does not have anything to do with the administration. And so as much as we'd like to grant and honor the requests that come before the city so that people can make use of the city website and the good folks who look at it and view it on a regular basis, it's simply not appropriate. And I don't recommend that the council approve this request. And in fact, I would recommend that the council have a blanket policy that when requests of this type come before it, that they be not considered or that they be denied, for the simple fact, again, that the city's not a place to advertise scholarship opportunities for groups. Certainly there are other means to get the word out. I understand that the GRP itself has a website. Certainly this could be posted on that website. The information can be available, I suppose, at City Hall if there's information to distribute, but I would not utilize the city's website for this particular purpose.
Okay, and as far as I've been up here, we've tried to keep the website as non-controversial and not posting things like this as we can. And we try to keep it just about the city, so I kind of reiterate what you said, so. Anybody?
There, now we have a number of things to play to refute this, and you'll see that they're both talking out of both sides of their mouth. I'm not going to say they're lying. You be the judge for yourself. You just heard what they said. They keep the website neutral. They post nothing on there. Now you're going to see something to the contrary. So if we could play the next clip, please.
I believe, Nick, you are the same attorney for the city of Scandia, and the same rules probably apply. Bill just looked up the city of Scandia, and they have all kinds of advertising and stuff on the Scandia website. So evidently it's not the same in the city as it is the others. I'm looking at your website and your resolution that you have all signed to, or the city council has. And one of the big things that just said is you shall meet the idea is to provide information for the city and keep our citizens informed. It says the grant website may provide links to government and related sites, providing the sponsoring organization is nonprofit and consistent with the goals and policy of the grant comprehensive plan. If I look at the grant comprehensive plan, it says conduct open communications with the residents of Grant. I don't think we've been doing that very well. So the city of Grant will communicate information to citizens for Grant for their improved understanding of relevant issues and development of a more participative community. Utilize communication media such as the city website, public radio, public television, newspapers, and libraries to provide information, news of all public meetings to Grant citizens. And I believe that includes the Charter Commission. I still don't believe Nick was right in the information he gave stating that we can't fund the Charter Commission. In fact, if you go back to the Cable Commission, some of the documentation in there, it's just obvious that you guys do not read your own
comprehensive plan, you don't read your own resolutions. But they go back to the table, and it does talk about that you will pay for the taping of the meetings, and that you will be reimbursed, and that's a position of it. And it is to get and tape all meetings. Now, when the resolutions were drafted, they did not specifically say the Charter Commission. Charter Commission did not exist. We had citizens that were welcomed and heard. That's why the Charter Commission is out here today, because we need to get control. Seems to me that everything we've been doing is ignoring, and I know time you're lucking the clock. We'll just keep on watching, or maybe we'll just keep on going, but there's a lot of stuff you've been doing that are not, according to your own resolution, comprehensive plans or ordinances. You seem to be, I don't know who you voted for, but it seems like you're using executive order. But we have a weak mirror system. You don't have any more authority than any other one sitting at that table. So if Mr. Bonin says he will put something on the agenda, he should not be taken off. I don't believe you have any more authority to say it can't be there. You make Mr. Bonin look bad when you tell our city clerk, don't put it on the agenda. You don't have that authority as mayor. We are a weak mayor system, and I believe as we move forward on the charter, we'll make sure that we maintain.
That gives you a flavor of what's going on. They're not following the resolutions, they're not following their comp plan, and I think, will you have some examples of this, Larry?
Actually, I think if maybe we could pull up the scan converter here and bring those up on the screen, we'll see exactly what we're talking about. We have Nick Vivian, as you've seen, as our attorney. He is representing our city, and if we could click to the next one here, you'll see, and it's probably a little hard to read there, but Ekbert Lambert represents the city of Grant. They also represent the city of Matamidi.
And Scandia.
So the correlation is that we're getting two different opinions. Maybe we can pull up the next one here. This is simply this youth scholarship. It's the first time anybody in our city's offered a scholarship to our youth over here that we know of, and we simply asked to get it put on our website. And as you heard Nick say, we can't be doing that. So if we would click the next one, we'll see the city of Scandia, and it says the Lions is accepting scholarships. They have two different lengths to their scholarship. Nick says we can't be putting such nonprofit information, although it benefits the city, and it's in line with that our comprehensive plan states that we shall be doing. But we go back to that. I've also got a document here, and it's also from this city of Scandia, where he says we can't put anything up there that it doesn't directly relate to the city of Grant. But Scandia, which Nick gives us, we have arts and recreation, we have countryside arts, we got the Gamble Garden, we got the churches advertised on our deal, the Elam Church. We have food, Chico's Bar, we got Meister's, Scandia Pizza, we got lodging in there, we got manufacturing, we got medical, we got professional services, from excavating to Cedar Homes, healthcare market, Lakeside Realty, surveying. So as you see, and we'll show you a little later, Nick gives two different opinions, and it's my opinion that you can get any legal opinion you want if you pay for it. The mayor simply asked Nick for an opinion, and Nick says, what do you want me to say?
What's interesting is how it can be 180 degrees, the legal opinion 10 miles down the road. Why? I thought Minnesota law and codes were pretty uniform.
Loren, it's not only the same difference in opinion in the same firm, it's actually the same attorney giving the same two different opinions. What do you want me to tell you? And I'll put it out there for you.
Yeah, we're going to talk a little bit more about this. We have another clip, and this is what Mayor Carr doesn't want, or Teflon Tommy, as we could call him. So if we could play the next clip, please.
Member of the press and mayor and city attorney, I think you two need to come to grips with the idea that when you exclude people from the official meeting and you want to censor their speech, you might as well say you're a dictator. That the reason people want to make their comment
city attorney, is as part of the official meeting, is so it's part of the official record. This is a song and dance exercise.
Okay, we're done. Please sit
Here.
down.
That's why you have to have a dance.
Thank you.
Now, I would like to say,
You can't read, and you're public, it's personal attack, so we're done, sir. Thank you.
you know,
Thank you.
you're a disgrace as a mayor and an elected official. And not enough can be said about your
Actually
attitude.
slams his phone.
You make the comments that you want to hear, the comments of the citizens, but you don't want to listen. You want to watch the clock. Yeah, laugh, Mayor, laugh. Laugh. You're arrogant. You're arrogant. You're rude.
Oh, boy.
You're a disgrace to the citizens of Grant.
What did you do?
Well, that was probably a little bit rough on the mayor, and I would not advocate that type of public comment myself. Whenever I've made public comment, I am respectful. I don't scream, I don't yell, I don't call names. I have challenged them a number of times when they have in fact called me a liar. I explained to them that I use their DVDs and their minutes to document everything I say and do. I take journalism seriously, and you're getting the honest, open.
Loren, if you take a look at what Bob Zick got up there, there's nothing that he said or did wrong until the mayor got up, stood up in the middle of it, and walked out. He simply stated that the reason you public comment is so that it can be part of the record. You don't do it after the meeting's adjourned. People get up there and they want to be heard. Yeah, you could go out there and you could have a phone conversation with the mayor, but nobody will ever hear it. It's
Well, the
forest
other
in the
point of
trees.
that is, too, if people read it in the public comment, they may have the same concern, and the light comes on, oh, I saw that pothole in the road, too, or I saw this problem or that problem. The whole idea is to keep the citizens informed. Government is for the people, by the people. Well, you can't keep them in the dark. I think Mayor Carp has the mushroom syndrome going on. You keep them in the dark and you feed them manure. And that's basically what the mayor is doing.
What he actually has got going, Loren, is that he doesn't want to hear you, and that's why the second article in the Charter Commission is freedom of speech. It is your right, and if you listen to your citizens, it will not be a problem. You simply listen, and then you adjust for what you're doing. And not everybody's going to be on the same page, but you do give them that courtesy.
Well, the other thing is I want to start showing how far he will go to squelch public comment. The background on this is they petitioned the court to have a charter commission. When he could not stack the charter commission with his cronies, he refused to let the charter commission meet in the city hall. Well, fortunately, Matamidi was very benevolent, and they offered the services of their beautiful, beautiful city hall. We thanked them very much. And then we wanted to record them. Well, he would not authorize the payment, even though they got reimbursed, so it cost them nothing. Went to that level. So I was learning to run the video, and my technical skills do leave a great bit to be desired. So then I had hired one of the SCC employees who tapes the city of Grant, tapes Matamidi, tapes White Bear Township, etc., to come and help me. The mayor made a phone call saying, well, you can't take money for this, you can't do that, basically trying to intimidate him. And what the clip we're going to see next is the chairperson of the Charter Commission reading a letter she sent to the judge. So if we could have that control room play that next clip, please.
That I send a letter to Judge Hoffman from the Grant Charter Commission. Your Honor, it has come to my attention that the mayor of Grant, Tom Carr, did threaten the technician, Kenny Ronan, that recorded our January 19th, 2014 Charter Commission meeting, that if he did any more recordings for the Charter Commission, he would no longer be used in his regular position of recording the council meetings for the city of Grant. Kenny felt this threat so sincerely that he would not record our February meeting. Respectfully submitted, Barbara Kelly, Chair, City of Grant Charter Commission.
Now, that's going quite far to squash public comment and keep the public in the dark. For Pete's sakes, he's the one that passed the resolution to petition the judge to have a charter commission. And he's been doing everything he can.
Actually, Loren, if we're to be quite honest, he only petitioned the court to become a charter commission because the citizens of Grant felt the need to form a charter commission. He simply petitioned to end Rundas, and he didn't get the result he wanted. So I'd like to read a little thing from the resolution. And this is, if you look up Resolution 2003-01, first one they did in the year in 2001, and it talks about the resolution supporting the application by the City of Grant to the Ramsey-Washington Cable Commission for equipment, installation, operator labor for the purpose of recording and cable broadcasting meetings. And it says that the city will be responsible for providing blank recording media. Whereas the City of Grant will be responsible for hiring somebody to operate the equipment during meetings. Whereas it is a practice of Ramsey-Washington County to reimburse cities for the labor and cost of recording such meetings, where it is recognized that the city would be responsible for providing an appropriate equipment cabinet and closet. And it basically is your first resolution stating exactly why it is no cost to the city, and it is to be encouraged. And then I would...
Larry, it comes down to public comment. If I hadn't got up and spoke under public comment, Kenny would still have his job. He wouldn't have been intimidated. Carr doesn't want this on the record.
Oh, beyond the shadow of a doubt. He has come after, he has a long record of this. He came after 3 planning commissioners. The first time he came after me is they called me in because I called the MPC to make sure that if they put sewer and water to the Montemita School, that it would not be officially as considered into Grant and other people couldn't hook up to it. Because there's a 160-acre farm across the street from the school that could be developed, and it's been tried to be developed several times. And I was called into the office with the attorney, 2 council members, and the clerk, the engineer, saying, and Scott Fogelson, who left for New Jersey, took another job. He said, well, did you call the MP, the Met Council? I said, well, I certainly did. Well, you shouldn't have done that. I said, and you think when Montemita refiles, changes their comprehensive plan, they're not going to know? That's the first time. The second time, they brought 3 planning commissioners up in charges, and one of the things they charged me with was impersonating a planning commissioner when I was one, which kind of amazed me. And by law, they were supposed to publish the results, which they didn't do. I was the cable commissioner, and they got rid of me off that. So there's been quite a long history. And one of the things that we're trying to do after being in the classroom 29 years, we have to keep children safe. And they're doing everything they can to operate in the dark. So
actually, Loren, if I could just kind of give you, and this kind of sums it up pretty good. It says, then this is goal number 7 in the comprehensive plan. It says the City of Grant will communicate information to the citizens of Grant for the improved understanding of relevant issues and the development of a more participative community. Boy, they sure don't want that. Key policy, regularly publish a newsletter that contains meaningful information about the community. Survey the citizens of Grant to capture their sentiments. Well, that's what public comment is surveying their citizens, which they don't do that. Utilize communication media such as the city website, public radio, public television, newspapers, and libraries to provide information and news of all public meetings in Grant. That is all public meetings. So you can see that they don't follow their own resolutions, they don't follow their own comp plans,
What you have is, you have censorship is what you have going on.
Absolutely, you're right, Tim. If we could play the next clip, please. There's a newsletter that comes out from SCC that lists all the classes. The bottom of the newsletter, it says, if the class doesn't fit your need, we can make a specialized class for you. What I in fact have done is set it up so Kenny Ronan can teach me how to do it. Because remember that one time I didn't get it recorded, okay? So I realized I had to learn more. So I paid him $50 and I watched him. I wrote copious notes. I have about 6 pages. Then I had to learn, and that's where it came from. It wasn't the Charter Commission paying. It wasn't the city paying. I paid him to teach me because I screwed up and didn't get it taped. I have to learn. This is totally different from the studio that's in SCC. The buttons are different, everything's different. So after getting trained once, it didn't take. I'm a slow learner. That's why they call me low-tech Loren. So okay, I paid the man $50 to correct me because, I'm a slow learner when it comes to computers. And so the whole issue and point is completely moot because I was paying, and I went, and if you like, I will bring the monthly newsletter from SCC that I get, and it shows that if you need a specialized class, we will arrange it. I arranged the class, I paid for it, so that's what's happening.
Okay,
Thank you. I think that pretty well covered it.
Well, I'll give you just another one. If you go back to the February minutes of the city council, and I'll read the minutes so you can pull them on the website if you think that we're adjusting them a little bit. But line 1 is, the Charter Commission discussion, Mayor Tom Carr stated the option of being a charter city has been discussed. He stated he is unsure as to whether or not the city should become a charter city, but he would like the city to be in control of that. And folks, I think that's exactly what he said. He has to be in control of every little deal. That's why he told you when he ran for office, you can stay home, I'll run the city, we'll take care of you. You can see it's not working very well.
Well, there's also apparent, one of the things, resolutions they passed is allowing supper clubs in A2, which is large agricultural areas. That is frowned upon by the Met Council. They say we're supposed to be agricultural. They didn't want to see leapfrog development. In other words, the commercial areas down along Highway 36, there's plenty of open ground there that could be purchased. If you want to put in a supper club, bless your heart. Nothing against the man that's got the land. He's probably a very nice man. But the problem is, it's out in the middle of nowhere. I mean, there's horse farms, two of them right in the same vicinity. And so the mayor, without sending it through the planning commission like he should have, they just, all we're doing is changing an N to a C, which is meaning changing non-compliant to compliant. So they're putting in there exactly what he wants. I mean, he's like they had outlaw at the OK Corral. He's just shooting from his hip and doing what he wants. So I think let's go to our next clip, and we're going to touch a little more on some of this stuff. This is a rather long clip. So if you could bear with us, it would be great. Control room.
It is signed by Thomas Carr, Mayor, and it says, where it is recognized that the city, and this is a resolution supporting the application by the City of Grant to the Ramsey, Washington County Commission for equipment installation and operator labor for the purpose of recording and cable casting city meetings. Then it goes on, whereas it is recognized that the city would be responsible for providing blank recording media. And if you'd like to follow along, this is in your red book under communications there. It's recognized that the city will be responsible for providing blank recording media, and whereas it is recognized that the city would be responsible for hiring someone to operate the equipment during meetings. Whereas it is a practice of Ramsey Washington Cable Commission to reimburse cities for the labor cost of recording such meetings. Whereas it is recognized that the city would be responsible for providing an appropriate equipment cabinet or closet with electrical outlets and window shade for the windows in the meeting hall. Therefore, it be resolved that the City Council, City of Grant hereby announce the intention of the cable casting their regular council meetings and planning commission meetings so long as the cost of the City of Grant do not exceed $300 annually. And so it's actually stated right in the resolution that Mayor Carr is signature to. And we go back into our comprehensive plan, it states that we should be including and using these tools. So I think there's so many resolutions and comprehensive plans are being violated willingly that we're getting opinion from an attorney that I'm going to give you a small example. Last month, we all know that, Tom, I'll get to you in a minute.
You don't call on me, Larry, the chair does things.
Well, I understand you did the same thing. You recommended me a minute ago, so see, it doesn't go both ways.
I'm patiently sitting here with my hand up.
Yeah, I hope they don't get tired. But anyhow, Madam Chair, we have all these resolutions on our books. They're not being upheld. We have the tools in our website to be paid. We had an opinion, and this is what I was trying to make before, is that we brought a youth scholarship up and asked to have it put on the agenda of the city council to be put on there. Our city attorney simply says, we can't put information like that on our city website. So we looked up, and amazingly, I have it here someplace, our city website indeed does advertise out there on other websites. If you, a good example on a youth scholarship, Nick Vivian is the same attorney that our city uses, and he's also the attorney for the city of Scandia. And amazingly, Scandia Marine Lions accepting scholarship applications on the city's website. It also lists tons of businesses in the city, lodging, manufacturing, medical. So the mayor says we can't put any type of material that's not city related. So if I was to follow that line of thought over here, and I have some over here, if you look at our own city website, we do have articles in there. Heck, if you look at the bottom of the link on our city website, we have cremation service and custom t-shirts. It's pulled out the website today. So the city attorney uses two different statutes, or he interprets them differently. Now I will bring out, and everybody, if you'd like to have a copy of these, our own city website, who says we cannot have links related to any business or anything, ironically has, there's a City of Grant website, it says buying property and selling property. So we have 3 realtors on the board. I find that nobody else can get stuff on the website. We can't even get a youth scholarship on a website, but you can get a link to buying and selling and buying property and selling in Grant. If you'd like, I'd send copies down there for you, so anybody else would want to see it. So we have 2 different standards. We have one for the sitting mayor and one for the residents of Grant, and that has to stop. It has to stop now.
Well, we've kind of covered that almost a little overlap, but I
think we should go to the scanner and give some examples.
Some examples, that's what we're going to do. We can go to the scanner, and we'll give some examples of the things. Okay, there we're talking about City of Grant, Minnesota, you can see at the top, buying property. Now, gee whiz, if we have 2 realtors on the board, and the third one on the board flips houses with one of the realtors, so we have 3 realtors, gee whiz, who is this going to benefit? And there's supposed to be nothing commercial? Okay, can we go to the next one, please?
Now we have selling property.
Imagine that. We just have to figure out which realtors wants to find out about the people buying property and which one wants to sell them.
Well, we'll have a 50-50 chance here. Can we pull up the next scan and we'll see which one and put them on a website? By gosh, here's our Mayor Tom Carr, and if you look on there, it says Coldwell Burnett. Our mayor is in here to sell property, and I believe he's doing a good job. He brought Med Council sewer and water a mile into Grant. That's why you have a trouble down here at Lost Lake, because he extended it. And Tim, maybe you could tell us, once the city of Grant entered into that joint powers agreement, what is the first thing you noticed this summer that the city of Matamidi did with those big pipes out there?
They ran some sewer and water extensions to out past the Lakeside Club and stuffed it up on Lincoln Town Avenue up to FedEx and run it right through the city.
And the importance of that, Tim, is that they not only repaired a pipe or replaced a pipe, but they doubled the capacity where they had one 12-inch line. Now they have two 12-inch lines, so they can handle the whole, what was capable of carrying the whole city of Matamidi. Now they put two of them in there so they can cover both cities. I think when Mayor Carr gets that next, when he gets Grant to get annexed into the city of Matamidi, he'll have so much inventory he won't know what to do. But pull up the next scan if you can see. Maybe this is one, I'm not sure which one listed, but you'll see Jeffrey Huber and you'll see Edina Realty. Folks, be careful of don't listen to what they say. Look at what you do. They entered into an illegal meeting to get the conditional use permit for the school.
And the sad thing is they're not doing any of the testing. They had an illegal bid process. They're not supposed to be putting sewer and water through the dump area. They're supposed to maintain a 15-foot or 10-foot separation. And we have pictures showing that, and we've shown them before. We don't need to show them.
Actually, Tim, maybe you can kind of tell me your concern is now that and you've got all kinds of documentation that said they were not supposed to run through a sewer and water line through a contaminated soil. But because of that, what is your concern? How did that affect you?
I just happened to pick up the newspaper in White Bear Press, as a matter of fact, and found out that there was mercury contamination on property that I own. I've never been contacted by the city, the DNR, pollution control. So I just picked up the phone and started calling the health department and the PCA, and a lot of finger pointing going on to who's responsible, and nobody's going to say they're responsible, and nobody wants to clean it up. I didn't put it there. I shouldn't have to clean it up.
Absolutely, and that's why the Department of Labor and Industry stated they cannot run a sewer and water through a contaminated site. We've got documentation of that. Folks,
I've got documentation here. This came from the Star Tribune with a betcher from the MPCA. Now considers a site safe for school, but it has advised the school district to avoid routing utilities such as sewer and water through the dump site. I think that's exactly what they did.
Well, there's been a lot of problems with this site. There's a lot of agencies that are refusing to ignore it. Plus, there's no enforcement, ladies and gentlemen. They're doing exactly what they want. You know, I guess we all want our children to be bright, but most of us don't want them to glow in the dark. And we're going to start seeing some health issues. Plus, they're planning on bringing 3 through 5 over there. And this is, first of all, there's so many reasons not to have a school there. They had 24 safe acres. It was a neighborhood school where kids could walk to school. Then the weekends they could go play in the playground. Now they have this school out on 2 county roads. It's out in the country. No kid's going to be able to walk to school. The traffic is horrendous. With a 31% open enrollment, there are cars lined up, 50, 60 of them at a time in their long, windy driveway. There's been several accidents on 12 and County Road 9.
all right.
And it's a problem.
Lauren, I've got documentation here. This came from Elizabeth Moore. It says the test area is not part of the district-owned land. What did they test?
Oh,
What land did they test?
They own it. They bought the land from Waste Management. They just don't want to admit they own it. Actually, go back to the Matamidi Comprehensive Plan. Said when Wildwood merged, it should be going onto that saved site over at O.H. Anderson. But I'll get back to kind of what our whole problem is here is they don't want the message to get out. The idea that it can be rebroadcast and people can hear other opinions. And I want to read you a little letter. And it came from Tim Finnerty with Suburban Cable Communications. It says the Ramsey Washington County Suburban Cable Commission administers a program for its municipalities that enables each municipality to receive reimbursement for labor costs related to the production and cablecasting of municipal meetings. The Commission's policy is to provide reimbursement for such costs for as many as up to 4 public meetings per month per municipality. The annual cost not to amount budgeted per municipality is $2,500 for 2014. And then, so what it basically tells you is that we can have up to 4 city council meetings done, or any city meetings, that it should have been our city council, the city planning commission, our charter commission, and any other meeting that they might pull up there, but it goes back to what Tom Carr said in the minutes. I don't know why we want to be in charge or need to be a charter commission, but I have to be in control of that.
Well, gentlemen, we have another clip here. The run-up to this is Mayor Carr, like I said, he wants it both ways. And he's right now, remember how many opinions that Nick Vivian's come up with? Now watch what the mayor's opinion is of Nick Vivian's qualifications. Control room, if you could run that.
I don't think, Nick, are you a charter commission expert? No. Okay. Well, so I don't know if we're learning too. So I don't know if having Nick there would be the person. If the charter commission.
So much for the confidence in the city attorney. Oh, you're not an expert, are you? Well, how come he's hanging so tough with his advice? We have two other attorneys on the Charter Commission. Both of them have the opposite opinion. They think that it should be allowed because...
Not only should be allowed, Commissioner Rogaszewski is actually the attorney for, I believe, the city of South St. Paul, which is a charter city. And the statement he's made many times is the city of South St. Paul pays all charter commission costs. And we've got an opinion from Nick, and I go back to this. You can get any opinion from Nick if you pay him right and you give him the right direction. Because the other two charter commission members believe he's wrong. But we're of the opinion that if Tommy says it's the way it's got to be, that's the way it's got to be. And I think it's time we hold him accountable.
Well, we're getting down to the end of the time here, folks. We got a few minutes left. I have one more clip I'd like to throw in, if we could, control room. And this is how people have to get their information across. This was an email that was sent to the Charter Commission. It covers a lot of ground, so if you would listen carefully, and we'll talk about it on the other side. Control room, please.
Email from a citizen wanting in the mayor's job description, Article 1, policy making and to uphold all the laws enacted for health, safety, and public welfare of all citizens. Article 2, restore dignity and honor to all elected positions. Govern the meeting with a set of Robert's Rules of Order. Be respectful and courteous when listening to legitimate concerns of residents. Don't make them sit through a lengthy meeting to be heard under the public comment when the meeting is adjourned and has no power or authority except to watch the clock and not put speaker on the agenda. Article 3, attempt to resolve and mediate things before they escalate into bigger and more costly concerns for the city staff and taxpayers. Article 4, enact a code of conduct for all grants elected officials and staff to eliminate no more closed-door meetings, no more backdoor dealings, abuse of power, and to be held accountable for all past and future infractions. Article 5, being in an honorable position is something one should be proud about, to take part in parades, civic events, and to represent Grant with dignity. All right. Article 6, which in our charter will be Article 7.
There. So we are having some input. Again, people are aware of the issues that we're working through, and we need public comment. And it's interesting how this gets turned around sometimes. In the White Bear Press, folks, there was an article, Movers and Shakers, The Right to Bully. It's an article by Tom Carr. I'm going to quote a couple things out of this. I'm not going to read the whole thing. Bullying has been a lot in the news lately. There are so many types listed in the internet that it's infiltrated much of society. Everyone agrees that bullying is a bad thing. Quote from Mayor Carr. Another quote as he goes through here, I do want public feedback, even if it means getting yelled at once in a while. It comes with the job description. There is a select few who ruin it for all with their demeanor, grandstanding actions, persistent half-truths, and the claim that they have the right to do so. I've consistently proved that they're not half-truths, and I quote them, but again, I must be a liar. He also said, most public officials are basically volunteers. I'll take honest debate, loud discussions and disagreements all day, as I think that is what the mayor duty is all about.
Loren, if I could, just a statement that he said that he's a volunteer for the city. The planning commissions are volunteers, the charter commissions are volunteers. Mayor Carr gets $3,000, roughly $300 a night to sit there and talk to you once a month. He is not a volunteer. He is a paid elected official. Let's make him a volunteer. Let's ask him to give up his compensation and then see if he's still willing to sit there. Let him be a volunteer like he says he is.
I would like to hear exactly what the lies and half-truths are. He has yet to produce one of them. I've confronted them in the city council when Councilwoman Loban went over that, and I proved to her directly that everything I say comes from the official record. And yet, I'm the liar. I've also been called a camera hog, which I suppose by running a show I could be construed as that. But they never are specific about what's a lie and what's a half-truth. They're basically what they're doing is they're throwing the mud and seeing what'll stick. Okay, Tim, you have something to add.
Lauren, you had downloaded from Wikipedia last night, bullying. This description of bullying, it instills the fear of speaking out, and it often becomes accepted or supported norm within the group. It also goes on to say bullying is morally wrong. I think what Mr. Carr needs to do here is look in the mirror.
I would agree. If it isn't something he wants to hear, he's not going to hear it. Granted, he says he wants to take heated comment. He does not. He does not want to hear from the citizens like he said in his mayoral campaign. You guys can stay home and I'll run the city. And evidently, that's what he thinks he can do.
Lauren, I've been at just about every council meeting for the last 4 years. And I'd tell you what, we've got a great community, great bunch of citizens, and I've never seen somebody come and bully the mayor. I believe it's going in the other direction, and he should actually show some examples. I know one of the examples he says is because we come up and hold him accountable. I think when you run for elected office, I think that's exactly what you're signing up for.
We have to hold them accountable. Of course, we talked to Pete Orput a few years ago, and he said, well, you have to hold them accountable at the election. Well, we attempted to, and of course, we had the October surprise where Councilman Huber contacted a number of seniors that had graduated the previous spring and had them vote absentee, and also they brought in two truckloads of people.
I don't want to cut you short, but we got Tim here as a guest, and I want to thank him for coming. But Tim, your dad was mayor of Matamita for quite a while. Did he listen to the people?
My dad was mayor and councilman. He's put in over 30 years of public service to the city of Matamita, and he always let the people speak. Whether he agreed or disagreed, he always gave them the opportunity to speak, and he listened to the residents of the community. Always.
Okay. Well, this has been a lot of information on this show, and I, of course, want to thank my co-host, Larry Lanou, who does an excellent job. And this is his red book, by the way, that he created for the Charter Commission.
Got a red book here, and
for all the documentation so they can file things in orderly. And, of course, I want to thank my guest, Tim Dewuski, who lives in Matamita and is feeling the repercussions of Tom Carr's actions and sneaking the sewer in. So once again, I want you to join us. Next month, we'll see what we can find in all around Grant.
Thank you.